up the Arrow review streak that we had going on, and we are going back into the Rick and Morty universe. And this one is a bit of a mixed bag for me. So this is episode 4, M. Not Shyamalan Aliens. I totally butchered that. Um, I liked this episode, but at times it had me zoning in and out of it. Before we go into the episode, let's get some of the guest starring people in this. There isn't really many, so I don't mind doing it. We have Dave, the biggest star on this one is David Cross playing Prince Nubian and radio voice. Dan Harmon's in this episode as Mr. Markowitz, and Kevin. We got Brandon Johnson as Mr. Goldenfold and the mailman. We got Carrie Walgreen as Jessica, Cynthia, and Hot Woman. So this episode starts off with Rick already questioning the world he is in, already knowing that he is in a simulation, as you find out with Beth that this isn't the real world because of how she is acting. She's acting normal whatsoever. But Morty doesn't know what Rick is talking about. He basically thinks that he's just crazy and that he has no idea what he's talking about. But we find out pretty quick that Rick was white. That Rick was right, and they are in a simulation. The aliens end up finding out that not only do they have Rick, they also have Jerry too. Like, they didn't realize that they picked up both of them, and then they of course play the blame game where it's like, well, abductions doesn't do this, well, simulation doesn't simulate people, and then it's like any job. Basically, one person blames them, and then the other person blames them. So yeah, and like, it's just like it real work. So I'll give him credit for that. And I have only realized this while recording right now. But they never mentioned them having Morty. They said the focus is all on Rick. Why not Rick and Morty? Because you have them both. So why was saying there was another one and like the main focus is on Rick Sanchez? Like, they never said the main focus is on Rick and Morty. Like, we need to make sure those two don't realize they're in the simulation. So like, but that could have been me. But that could have been a way to spoil the ending if you were really focused. But yeah, the main focus is on Rick and not Jerry. So Jerry does his own thing. They even dumb it down to 5%, where the simulation's just working with that. So Rick tells Marty to take a shower with him, which is just weird. I get why he said it. Because, but, they use it as like a camouflage, because like the aliens who I cannot think of their name right now. I even had it planned in my head to say them and not aliens, but I cannot think of what their name is. They don't like nudity, which is just weird. But I mean, I'm not going to question it. But yeah, this isn't as weird as the show gets, but we do find out the show gets a lot weirder, and incest is basically a big thing in seasons later on, which is weird. But yeah, we're not in that season. We're in this season, so let's keep it with this. So they are able to get out of the simulation. Rick comes up with a plan to find a way to glitch out the system to where they can run off, because it's like a treadmill that you're walking on, so it just keeps creating the world so you think you're not in it. So they eventually find a way to glitch out of there and are able to run off the treadmill and get the heck out of the simulation. So they are able to get out of it, and Rick comes up with a plan to steal from them and get away, like grab all their crystals, I guess. I don't know if it's the crystals or like, he says they're worth a lot of stuff, and like, I don't know if they're like chips or whatnot, but like, yeah, it's Rick. He's got to steal something. So after finding out they're already in another simulation, after they run out of the first simulation, or they realize they're in the first simulation, they try and get away again, and that's when they run into Jerry, who has been living probably his best life he has ever had. Like, it's the greatest day he's ever had in his entire life. He gets an award for the campaign slogan of hungry for apples, which he thinks, no, it's not a play on words, or it's the same thing as got milk, which kind of, I mean, they're both kind of dumb and simple, but it is Jerry. So I mean, yeah, but out of the whole plan, because obviously Rick knows everything that was going on, but he had no idea Jerry was there. That was the only thing in this whole plan where he had like no idea, like, Jerry, what are you doing? He's like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. So, because this whole time, I guess the aliens are trying to make themselves concentrated dark matter. Like that's what they're trying to get from Rick, because it's apparently the fastest way to get from one point to another point. Like it's the fastest way to fly, and obviously then aliens are trying to figure out how to do that. They're trying to figure out how to make that. Well, obviously this is the only way to do it, and obviously them being in another simulation, Rick basically gives them the whole concentrated dark matter formula and gives them the password to his secret safe at home. So like now they have everything. They're living on Easy Street. They simulated Morty, which Rick wasn't expecting, quote unquote. And yeah, like they thought they tricked him and everything like this. Like they have no idea, like that they tricked Rick into thinking that he wasn't in another simulation, and of course they rub it in, they make him feel like absolute crap, telling him that they didn't have the formula, and now they do, and now they have the password to all of his gadgets and all of that, and obviously take pictures, make fun of him, and then they let them go because they don't need him anymore. They already embarrassed him. And then Rick says something, I don't remember what he says, and Jerry's like, look, you need to be a little bit more respectful for the guys who, now made you look like an idiot, because now you are one of us idiots. Well, the formula that Rick conjured up is basically just a way to blow up the aliens. That's basically what it was. It was him tricking them, and as it blows up, Jerry's like, oh my god, what was that? And Rick was like, I don't know, maybe you should ask the smartest people in the universe. Oh wait, you can't, because they died. Like, clearly he knew it the whole time. I mean, but yeah, I mean, that's a quick sum of it. I just tried to sum through it as fast as I could, because it wasn't like a lot went on in this episode, but also at the same time a lot did happen at this episode. Like the things that did happen almost didn't matter because they were in a simulation. So like, yeah, like it seemed like a lot went on, but then it also didn't seem like a lot went on. And then this was also kind of in a way the first Jerry and Rick adventure together. Like, I didn't think Jerry was the first one he ended up having an adventure with. I thought it would be like Beth or Summer, and I didn't think Jerry would be the first one to go on like a space adventure with Rick, even though it wasn't really planned. So yeah, a lot of things happened, a lot of things didn't happen, and it didn't really do much for me. It kind of was like a nah type of episode, but it was still better than most episodes. Like, the grade I'm gonna give this episode is a B plus. Like I said, it's not the worst episode, but at the same time, it wasn't the best. Like, it wasn't as good as the first three that we got. This one just seemed a little boring. I guess. I'll probably put that in there as a con, that it didn't hold my attention too much. Not saying that's the worst thing in the world at all. Like, that's not it. It's just I couldn't stay focused all the way, and that might have been because when I was watching it wasn't holding my attention, and maybe I just wasn't at the good time of me watching it. But at the same time, like, I was just going in and out, and it might have been because I've also seen it a few times too, so that might have been the reason why too. But still, at the same time, it didn't hold my attention as much as the first 3 episodes did. The Rick and Morty showering together, I put that as a con because it's just weird and it's very uncomfortable, and I get why they were doing it. But as we find out later on as the show goes on, it gets just weirder with the whole family being naked with each other, doing things with each other. Like, it's just a small part of that weird iceberg of craziness that they end up having going on. So I had to put that as a con just because of future stuff. And like, this is like almost the beginning of that. So it's not the biggest thing. It's also not the worst thing in this whole episode, but it was something that bothered me only. And it's probably the dumbest thing ever. I mean, you can easily tell me that's the dumbest thing ever, but it's just something that I didn't like. It doesn't take away from the episode. This wasn't what made the grade go down or anything like that. Because obviously it being a bit boring is what made it go down, but it wasn't so boring that it ruined the whole episode. It was just a bit boring, and that's what took it down. I also didn't like how dumb they made Jerry. Like, we know Jerry is an idiot. We know he is not the smartest person in the show, but the fact that the simulation was working on 5% and Jerry thought he had the greatest day of his entire life, it's a little embarrassing. And like, I don't like how dumb they made him out to be. Like, I know he is dumb, but did we have to make him that dumb? Like, I feel like there was better ways to go about that, but I didn't like that. Like, it just seemed like we didn't realize how dumb Jerry was, because in the last episode, he wasn't dumb. He just kind of couldn't accept everything that was going on with his family and everyone else's. Like, he just kind of got the tables turned on him in a way. And this one, they just make him the dumbest person in the world. Like, I don't know. It seemed really weird how dumb they made Jerry seem in this episode. Like, it wasn't even a gradual slope down to him being an idiot. It was just dumb. You're just dumb. You're dumb. But the good things, which outweigh the bad things in this episode, that's why it's only a B plus, and it's not like a D or something like that. I like how they confuse the simulation. I like how they have like this concert to like try and get out of the simulation, because if you pause it enough, it'll give them enough time to, have it glitch out and run off the treadmill because they'll be stopped. I did like how they did that. I like how it was like Rick is thinking of like, if you're over 40 with a blue shirt and blonde hair, raise your hand up. If you're 40 and you're in great shape, do the jump on one. Like it was, I liked how clever it was. I like how he just figured out that having the system do all these 50 different thousand things is what's going to glitch it out. And I kind of like that. I like how they found that way out to escaping, and it wasn't, let me hack into the system and do the computer whiz out of here. No, I liked how they had to figure out something while they were in it. They had to think on their hands and feet about how they're going to get out. So I kind of like that. I really enjoyed that. That was a kind of a clever way to get out. I like how the aliens, quote unquote, tricked Rick. I like how they, did a simulation inside a simulation, and then also made Morty basically a whole simulation too. Like, they had to go through all of this to fake him with, him doing the whole shower thing and being nude with him. Like, they did all of this and making it seem like Morty was a real thing too, and I enjoyed that. I kind of liked how they tried to outsmart him, but obviously, Rick being Rick, you're not going to outsmart him. You need to be a Rick level of smart in order to outsmart him. So I like how they tried. That's the key word. I like how they tried to trick Rick, but at the end, obviously, they ended up being blown up because they're the smartest people in the world. So, and then I like how Rick also tricked them back, with him knowing that he's in the simulation and, basically coming up with the concentrated dark matter and fooling these guys into thinking that they made the right formula, and then ends up just blowing them up. Like, I thought that was kind of clever on how to get rid of them. He took an L to them, but he really took the W in real life. So I thought that was kind of clever. But this wasn't the worst episode, but at the same time, it wasn't the greatest episode. This was probably the worst one we've had so far, but I'm not too worried. I'm pretty sure the episodes keep getting better. We are almost halfway through. We have, because there's 10 episodes this season, so we're almost halfway through. I don't know what the next episode's gonna be. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. But yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to continue doing another Rick episode or if we'll go to Ninja Turtles after this. I would like to have a schedule of this, but right now with work, it's just a matter of when I get which done, and that's how I was going to do it, because I'd like to have a schedule where, like, Mondays are Rick and Morty, Wednesdays are Ninja Turtles or Arrow, and then Fridays something, I'd like to break it up like that. But with me not having that kind of time to record, edit, and then do it, I don't have enough time to do all that. So I'm going to try eventually, but I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get there. So, if you like it, sub to the channel, comment what you like the video, do all the fun stuff. All the fun stuff that you want to do. And then, yeah, if you liked what you watched, watch some of the other videos that I have. And yeah, that was the worst ending to this episode. And bye.